Hello and welcome to episode 129. Yes, I got it right. Of the DaebakCast. This is a weekly podcast where usually three of us, but lately it's been like two of us or three of us that are not the normal lineup or whatever. But anyways,
2.5 hosts.
Yes, basically, come together each week to talk about K-pop and whatever's current in the industry. This week we got some album reviews. Nate was going to be maybe joining us today, but he ended up not feeling well, so he's not here either. And one of these days we'll finally get back into our groove of the three of us on every week.
Yeah,
it's just
I told
been
them last
hectic.
week. Yeah, I told them last week, like off camera, we were just like we're hardcore teasing that OT3 reunion because we haven't done it in a while. So, because I haven't been on, you haven't been on, that sort of thing. So, yeah, Jacob's alive, I'm alive.
Yep. So I'm back after a while. Andrew's back after a while as well. So this should be a pretty cool episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, as always, I'm joined by Andrew, who usually has three things.
Number one, assuming I can get this up tomorrow, I'm going to be seeing Twice in concert on Sunday at Prudential Center. If you're there, say hi. I should be there with my family, and I'm going to be meeting some other people from Truly Daebak fam. I know, I think Sam's going. I know Baron's going. I know Egg's going.
Yep.
I don't know who anyone else is going, but if you're going, say hi. I'll be very excited.
Nate's going to the concert, but at a different location.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he's going to the one in Chicago. So he's going after we film with Umu. So yeah, that should be fun. Number two. Oh nope, that's the wrong one. Number two is there was over the weekend or last weekend there was. Basically, like half of Manhattan had a blackout, which was very interesting. I think
so many blackouts.
Yeah, I know, because you couldn't join us. You couldn't join us last time because you had a blackout, and then New York City had really a blackout. Not related, by the way. You live like hundreds of thousands of miles away from friggin'
hundreds of thousands of miles. No, I don't even think it's 1,000.
Anyway, I think there was like a Jennifer Lopez concert going on at Madison Square Garden while the blackout happened, and then
they were advertising that at KCON.
Yeah.
I wonder if it happened during the concert. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, no, it happened during the concert, and they had to reschedule it for that Monday. That following Monday because of because they lost power. So yeah, that was interesting. I was like talking to my mom. I was like, I'm just glad it didn't happen during KCON. Imagine if it happened like the week before.
Oh man, that would have been terrible.
You're like, just
all the artists would be like, what's happening?
Undertaker.
And then the audience storms the stage.
No, the Undertaker shows up. That's what everyone knows. That's what happens whenever the lights go out. And number three, just a bit of a family sort of thing. Last weekend, I saw my sister started taking these like, I think it's called like aerial silks or something like that. Basically, it's like, think like Cirque du Soleil type shit, like
trapezes and stuff.
Not really, like just like on like using like a silk like ribbon type thing. So my sister did her first performance with that, so that was pretty cool. I recorded it before my phone ended up falling into the depths of Penn Station, but yeah, it was cool. My sister does dope stuff. You can follow her on Instagram at Hang with Mish and My Weather. That's a
Hang with her.
Hang with Mish and My Weather is a Paramore reference. She loves Paramore, but yeah, that was cool. Those are my three things. Nothing else than that in terms of programming, I guess. But I guess I covered it.
Yep. All right. I guess with that, we can get right into the review, starting with...
You don't have Blown Out.
I don't have Blown Out. Actually, I think I'm back to not knowing where it is again. Because to be honest, I thought about it the other day and I didn't know where it was, so it's lost again.
That's gonna be our first Patreon tier. Is just like we get like $5 a month, so we can afford to buy you a new Blown Out copy.
Buy me like a stack of Blown Outs. Like just I have an arsenal of extras.
Like seriously, so actually, you know what we should do? We should leverage our internet celebrity. Somebody tweet like at Tableau that you lost your copy of Blown Out, and for him to send you a new copy.
Dude, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, so we should leverage our minor internet celebrity to have people bother Tableau while he's touring.
Definitely. All right. Without further ado, we'll get into the first review, which is Baekhyun from EXO with his solo debut, which was titled City Lights. This is a mini album, and are you reading this or am I? Or?
Yeah, we'll just trade off. We'll
Okay.
just go one after another. So I'll read off for this. So yep, this is Baekhyun, City Lights. Yeah, I'm surprised it took him this long to get a solo. Granted, I feel like they're kind of just rushing EXO solos now that everyone's just getting military service now. So yeah, they're just giving everyone like final projects before they have to all enter the military. So yeah, this will be the first review. Starting us off, we have the lead single off of the album entitled UN Village. Now, when I first listened to this or saw the title, I'm just like, what the heck is UN Village? Apparently,
Yeah, I don't know. It's like
Apparently,
the Olympic Village or something.
no. Apparently, it's like think like Gangnam in Gangnam style. Like basically, like
Oh, Gangnam?
it's like a really like affluent like neighborhood in like Seoul
Okay.
or something. I don't know why. I don't know why it's called UN Village. If you know why it's called UN Village, please explain to us in the comments. But yeah, I'm guessing that was sort of the inspiration behind the song, or just he's gonna take this person to UN Village. I don't know. It must be something very exciting. Anyway, onto the actual song. It's definitely a lot more experimental than I thought Baekhyun would do in terms of music. Just because when you think Baekhyun, you kind of think like
Ballad.
emotional
coffee shop
ballad type thing.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, so for him to do like almost the entire album is like this like really sensual R&B, PB R&B type thing, like very modern sound. Something I didn't expect it, so it kind of caught me off guard. But I did say, for the most part, I'd say I enjoyed it. Mostly just because Baekhyun's an amazing singer, and I feel like this style of R&B definitely works in his favor. I'd say where it kind of falls short for me is the chorus is just kind of like repetitive and just doesn't go, or doesn't seem as interesting as what Baekhyun was doing in the chorus. So yeah, I mean, that'd probably be the only gripe. Yeah, just overall, it was, I'd still enjoyed it, but I wish the chorus was a bit more exciting compared to the rest of the song.
Yeah. So for me, I thought it was a really nice like hip hop R&B song. I think it's definitely right inside of like EXO's like recent wheelhouse, I'd say.
Oh, definitely.
So
They've
like
been
a
going
lot of
into
these
that
songs in
R&B.
these albums, I could see them being EXO like album tracks or something.
Yeah.
I thought Baekhyun's vocals are great as always. The hook especially I thought was really effective due to its use of like pauses and stuff like that. At first I thought it was a little repetitive in the chorus, kind of like you said, but now it doesn't really bother me. I think it works well enough. And also shout out to the muffled section that they used like in the post chorus. I thought that was really cool.
It kind of reminds you of something like Taemin would do, not Baekhyun. Again, it's just really just different for him, right?
Yeah, I guess maybe it's becoming like a SM thing.
SM, yeah, just experimental. It's weird to think of SM being the experimental label when for so long they were just what was considered what was vanilla in K-pop.
Yeah, I guess SM always has been the one that kind of sets the status quo, but I think in recent years, like what they were talking about at a panel we were at KCON is like more and more recently they're bringing more foreign artists to write songs for them and stuff, and I think that definitely is evidence in recently with how like experimental and different all their different artists' music tend to be.
Yeah, I mean,
compared to the rest of the K-pop industry.
Yeah, SM definitely seems to be at the forefront, or they're the ones spearheading, like bringing in Western or European songwriters. You know, your usual suspects. Yeah, compared to the other big three, because the other big three, like JYP, obviously writes his own, like can write stuff.
Yeah.
You know, YG has Teddy, so there's and they have Kenzie, but I mean they aren't overly reliant on just in-house people.
Yeah. Like I think because definitely like YG is the biggest offender of relying on in-house people. Like Teddy writes half of YG's songs,
more than half.
Yeah. And then JYP, like the don't necessarily use a ton of in-house writers, but they do use a lot of Korean writers, like for example with Twice, Black Eyed Peas song.
Black Eyed Peas song, yeah.
But on the other hand, I guess GOP is kind of in the middle because they also used David Amber. I think
David
his name
Amber
was.
does a lot of stuff for Twice. So.
Yeah.
You have Nate's notes, or did you have
another thing on the UN Village? I thought visually speaking, the MV was like super beautiful. I really like the aesthetic, like of it going back and forth between the black and white and then the really vividly covered sections. I thought those colored sections, I mean, I thought that looked really nice. I like the aesthetic of it. And it didn't have to cost super expensive to make something like that. So I think it looked really beautiful. So going on to Nate's thoughts, okay, computer, open the, all right, Nate's notes for UN Village. She said, it's got that smooth R&B style that I expect Andrew will love. Accurate.
Yes.
His voice is really good for this type of song. The beat is pretty basic, but the instrumentals are decent. Nothing too special, but they help focus on his voice, which is the highlight of the song. The string part added during the bridge was great. MV is typical R&B MV. See, lots of black and white ambient shots with Baekhyun just singing in front of buildings. Did like the use of alternating between different colors for different scenes in the second verse. So I guess he did agree on me on what he liked, but he wasn't as blown away on the visual side from the MV. But yeah.
Cooper, on the other hand, says, exactly what I wanted from a Baekhyun single, R&B, noir aesthetics, and smooth production. This really lets his vocal color shine, which can get really drowned out in EXO songs sometimes. The MV is extremely beautiful, basically just a photo shoot behind the scenes, but it has a city feel to it too. There's actually some choreography on the live stages, which I wasn't expecting, and there's a body roll, so it's a 10 out of 10 for me. Sure. I didn't have a chance to go check out the live stage, but I'll check that out after. Moving on, we're on to oh god, it skipped on the thingy, but we'll just call it we're moving on to Stay Up by featuring Benzino. I don't know. Is Benzino usually a collaborator with like SM artists? Because that kind of came out of left field.
He did No Matter What with Boa.
Oh yeah, that's like the only other song I've heard him collaborate with.
I've seen him on so many features. Like he features on everything. Let me check real quick in my library.
Yeah, but he usually does a lot. But I mean, him doing like features with SM artists is kind of out of left field. Anyway, this song just kind of threw me for a loop the first time I heard it because because like the opening riff, like the opening vocal, like melody just sounds so similar to this song by Hyorin and J Park called One Step. Like it's the same exact melody and everything. So that kind of, I almost did a spit take the first time I heard it. I was like, wait a second, am I listening to the right song? But yeah, for the most part, I did enjoy this song. Like there's some cool like vocal sections here that I like. Again, like similar to what we got in UN Village.
Yep.
It's produced by Cha Malone, which is nice. And
okay, so that might explain it then.
Yeah, maybe. Did
Cha did he produce the Hyorin song?
No, he didn't. It was Andreas Oberg. Okay. But I mean, obviously.
So I guess it was
connection. The J Park connection.
Coincidence.
I mean, Benzino's feature was all right, but it doesn't really add much to the song. In all honesty.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, I feel like if Benzino didn't show up at all, I feel like the song wouldn't have it would have been. It wouldn't have been
better or worse. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my basic thoughts on it.
All right, so I thought the beat in the song was really nice with the bouncy bass beats they used throughout. I really like the high pitched vocal samples that they used in the post chorus, as well as Baekhyun's ad-libs in the same sections. And then again, I felt like Benzino's feature was a little unnecessary as much as I do like him.
Yeah. What's Nate's thoughts?
Oh, yes. I keep forgetting that I need to read Nate's. Let me pull that back up. All right, so Nate said for Stay Up, I really like the main synth melody introduced right from the start in this song. It's got a very mysterious vibe to it. That vibe is accentuated by the echoes and effects they use to add to his voice. Benzino's feature was fine. His lower rapping voice contrasted with higher singing Baekhyun does.
Cooper said, "I need a charger, big boy." You know that joke, right?
I need a charger, big boy. Yeah. From Reddit.
Yeah. He says, Andrew showed me this. Sounds like a Hyolyn song, but I still love this. Really great copied song. Baekhyun harmonizing with himself he puts in like the asterisk, moi. He literally puts chef kiss in his notes. So
nice.
Next, we have Betcha. This was produced by London Noise, so pretty much regulars at regulars.
SM.
Yeah, they're the go-to, it seems, when you have to do some type of like cool like EDM type track. This is probably my favorite in terms of actually, no, my bad. I'm looking at Ice Queen. Betcha is written by Kendi, produced by the Stereotypes and August Rico. So Stereotypes, obviously.
Okay, either way.
Either way, also pretty much like mainstays
regulars
with
at this
SM.
point.
I wasn't familiar with August Rigo, but apparently he's written for artists like Music Soul Child, Jesse McCartney, Chris Brown. So I definitely feel a bit of like a Chris Brown vibe to the instrumentals.
A lot of Korean like R&B singers definitely go for that Chris Brown vibe, so it's no surprise.
Yeah, well, I think it's just a lot of like SM artists that like we're familiar with. They're all in like their like late 20s, early 30s now.
Yeah, grew
so
up
all
with
the
that
music,
kind of stuff.
yeah, all the music they're inspired by was just that 2000s R&B type thing, which I'll get into in some of the other reviews. But yeah, with this, it definitely has the Stereotypes, their signature touch on it. In all honesty, like you can definitely tell with like the type of synths that they use. It's probably the best song on the album for me. And I always bring this up every time we review the Stereotypes, but it's always so cool how there are many different types of R&B they're able to tackle for different artists. So I always appreciate the touch that they're able to add to specific songs while maintaining like each different artist's sort of unique sense of style. So you know, like this song isn't going to be the same as whatever like they write for Red Velvet or Bruno Mars. So that's always a cool thing to see.
Yeah. I thought the auto-tune effect they used on his voice right in the beginning was kind of interesting. It wasn't bad. It was just kind of odd and kind of cool. I like the deeper tone that he uses in his voice. He uses on his voice in this song. The really like full sounding like bing bong sounds. I don't really know what to call them.
Yeah, it's
that
like
they used in the.
Yeah, it's like some weird like pong sound effects or whatever.
Yeah, I thought those were really cool and instrumental. So yeah, overall this is a cool song.
You have Nate?
Oh, Nate.
You'll get used to it.
Every time.
We have 5 album reviews. You'll get it eventually.
All right. Nate says, going on full American R&B with this song. Crappy auto-tune additions included. Okay, he didn't like it. Love the house-inspired instrumentals, though. Absolutely love the chiptune synths for the chorus. This song went from being my least favorite so far with the auto-tune ad-libs to being my favorite because of the absolutely fantastic instrumentals.
Yeah, I'd say again, just you can definitely tell that the touch the Stereotypes add to it, so that's definitely a big bonus to this song. Cooper says, the bass is really nice here, and I love the synths used. The pre-chorus is definitely the highlight of the song, along with the bridge. The claps and rhythms are so Stereotypes, they literally never fail. I agree. They haven't written a bad song whatsoever.
They wrote a little song called...
We saw it live. We saw the song live. Well, not by Bruno Mars, by very, but close enough. Anyway, next we have Ice Queen. This is produced by London Noise. Unfortunately, I don't know, like the instrumentals that they do isn't bad. It's just I don't know. It's just whatever vocal melody that they ended up going with just didn't vibe with me at all.
It
It
kind of like stays in the same region.
Yeah, I feel like you have Baekhyun, who is an incredible singer, so I feel like you can do something a bit more. And London Noise is no stranger to experimental. So I feel like they could have gone like, a bit done something a bit more interesting considering the vocal talent they had on hand with this song. It definitely fits the vibe of the album because it's definitely like this whole like sexy vibe to it. But I don't know, it just compared to like I definitely hold London Noise to a very high standard. So just compared to what I'm used to hearing from them, it definitely felt half baked.
So I agree with the hook. I think they could have gone with a more like melodic hook there, but overall I thought it was still a good song. I think the clear sound that they used in the beginning verses that kind of like swells up as more beats start to populate the space, I thought that was really nice. The drop into the chorus was also pretty like effective in that way as well. Again, I think this is another track that I feel like would fit in on an EXO album as maybe a B-side.
Definitely. And maybe it'd be better off on an EXO album considering like you could add like more interesting harmonies and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, what'd Nate think of it? Because he's been kind of back and forth.
Nate says, another pretty standard another pretty standard R&B song. I like the sci-fi style synths used, but other than that, the song is pretty unremarkable. Okay. Once again, his voice is great for the style of song, but it's not exactly my cup of tea.
Cooper, on the other hand, says, this is sex music.
He says it in that tone too. This is sex music.
He says, I absolutely love this song, probably my second favorite on the album. The lyrics are also really good. I can't stress it enough how much I love the entire album is smooth R&B. Like, he really gave us what we asked for, unlike Chen. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Chen was kind of a disappointment because a lot of it was just like ballads. And basically, like Chen and Baekhyun kind of switched. Like you think Chen with like his incredible belting would do some type of R&B type thing, and Baekhyun would do the ballad. So yeah, kind of an interesting.
I'm surprised. By the way, also that there's no like EXO members featuring on this album.
Yeah, you'd think maybe
like on one track or something.
Maybe they're all too busy recording their own things because everyone's getting rushed to the military.
Yeah, so that could very well be true.
That's my canon explanation for it, at least. Next we have.
Oh yes.
Next we have Diamond.
Yes.
So this one was produced by someone named Darkchild, who like that staging obviously. Darkchild is a huge Grammy Award-winning producer, American producer.
Who's he worked with?
Brandy, Whitney Houston, Mary J. Blige, Toni Braxton, and he did Destiny's Child, Say My Name. So this guy, that's a pretty big name.
Okay.
That's a pretty
a little song called
Say My Name. Yeah. But I mean, like that's a pretty big name for Baekhyun to be working with. That's actually pretty cool how he ended up writing a song on this. It's such a random thing too. Like you think he'd write for like a big like an EXO song or like an NCT song or Red Velvet or something like that.
It could maybe be that SM like bought the demo and then reworked it.
Yeah, but that's actually cool to see just them getting that big of a caliber of artist. Also,
definitely,
the song was written by Cold, so yeah, he's just. I think he must be friends with a lot of people in SM. So I mean, he did get
Cold did the lyrics.
Yeah, he wrote the lyrics specifically to it. So yeah, he must have some friends over there because he had a station single, and obviously I think he's featured on some other stuff too. But
nice.
So yeah, you definitely. In this, I feel like this song kind of makes Ice Queen kind of redundant, just because I feel like this was
does the same thing but better.
Yeah, same thing with like 100 times better. Just because again, this is kind of like the like sort of vocal depth I was looking for with a Baekhyun like sexy R&B track, and yeah, so that's why I guess I didn't like Ice Queen as much. You definitely feel that influence of all those female R&B singers that Darkchild has worked with. Definitely, Baekhyun has the range to do it justice, and yeah, I think he fits like between Betcha and like Diamond. I feel like he fits this like the model of like 2000s R&B type of music. I feel like he does better with it than just like the like sort of modern like PBR&B style stuff that he was doing with UN Village. I feel like I enjoy his voice better in this context.
Yeah, so one thing I like to shout out is I really love the voice synth they use in the beginning. It kind of reminds me of like recent Shiny stuff because they've been doing a lot of stuff with that. Beyond that particular section, not as much, but nonetheless, the vocals on this song especially stood out, I think. I think this is probably the best vocal performance on the album.
By far.
Particularly like in the last like third or so where he's starting to go up into the really high registers.
Basically he's just doing like at some point he's just doing falsetto the entire time almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those ad-libs were amazing towards the end. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite songs on the album. Up there. My actual favorite song is not out yet.
So what did Nate say?
Okay, we're gonna do this again. All right, Diamond. Love how the synths follow his voice in the song. Lots of great synths to accentuate him in the song. This is Nate's new word, accentuate.
Accentuate.
Yeah. Piano does a great job putting a bassline melody too. Overall, one of the more interesting tracks on the album, in my opinion.
Cooper says, "Cold Yeet." He says, "My favorite song on the album. I didn't know Cold was gonna write the catchiest hook on the record. This is more upbeat, groovy R&B. I expected than expected as the title track, or more expected than the title track. I bet SM wanted this as the title too. Anyways, this is gonna be going on my favorites of the year for sure. So yeah, hopefully Darkchild gets more writing opportunities for SM. Definitely knocked it out of the park here." And closing out the album, we have Psycho, which is a bonus track. It's this like really like ominous sounding song. Again, this stuff kind of reminds me almost of like Taemin as opposed to Baekhyun. So yeah, he's just an interesting sort of direction he's going with. Like it has this awesome build up towards it. But I don't know, it just kind of falls flat once it gets into the actual song too. Like my favorite part of the song is probably the build up, and then the rest of the song I just don't like as much. Which is kind of
Psycho.
It's just kind of a disappointment for me because I wanted to like this song so much. It has this like really cool like again, I love that really cool like ominous vibe to it. Like it felt like from the build up, I felt like it could have been like a title track or something, but yeah, I don't know. It's just another song where I feel like they could have utilized his vocal talent better.
So for me, this is probably my favorite song on the album. I really, really like this song. I thought it had a great use of the like understated sort of like guitar sound. The sound space sounds like super like hazy and smoky. Like it's clear but full kind of. That's why I use like hazy or smoky. Like it's thick. Yeah. Which really helps with the overall tone, like you said, to make it very ominous and like imposing. It clears up really awesomely though in the pre-chorus, which leads to a really satisfying drop. In my opinion, by the way. This is probably my favorite song on the album, so yeah, I'm glad it was included.
Nate.
Oh yes, Nate. Nate says, okay, after a whole album of R&B songs, I did not expect an industrial alternative rock song. I don't know if I'd call it that, but I see what he's saying.
I feel,
yeah. This gave me Taemin vibes like crazy, so he agrees with you there.
Yeah.
Easily my favorite song on the album, so he agrees with me there. Easily the most interesting song on the album. It fits the name of the song as well. Give me more of this. Great way to end the album.
And Cooper says, this song has kind of been ruined by the Discord saying it sounds like an Imagine Dragons song. Oh, well, I'm sure that's why you like it more than Cooper and I do, because Imagine Dragons is like your number 5 favorite band or something.
No, I wouldn't say number 5, but because their third album was kind of trash. The first 2 albums were good, though.
Yeah, the first 2 albums are good. Everyone knows. So that will close out the review section. We'll get into scores. If you're joining us for the first time, we do a 10-point rating system, maximum of 7 points covering the music, maximum of 3 points covering the concept, visuals, choreography, music video, that sort of thing. So, that being said, I give a maximum of 2.5 points for the single. So yeah, I thought it was good. I don't know, it just kind of fell flat during the chorus. 2.5 for the album. Again, I feel like it's kind of it's still good despite me having my gripes with Ice Queen and Psycho. And a 2 out of 3 for Concept. Again, I feel like it didn't do anything too ambitious necessarily, but I thought the whole like black and white aesthetic was kind of cool. So 7 out of 10 for me.
All right, so for me, I gave the music a 6 out of 7. I thought the whole album was really nice and it was cohesive overall. Other than that, the only parts I really took away was I felt like Benzino's feature on Stay Up was kind of unnecessary. And then, like you said, the hook in Ice Queen, I think it would have helped it if it was more melodic and it was less kind of like just like it stays kind of in the same region there. So 6 out of 7 overall. So for Concept, I gave it 2.5 out of 3. I thought the MV was really cool. And yeah, overall it was really nice aesthetic. So I gave it good points in Concept. So overall, I gave a 8.5 out of 10. Great album. Then for Nate, he says, overall, so R&B isn't exactly my favorite thing to listen to, but this album had some nice standouts. I think UN Village was one of the more boring songs in the album and shouldn't have been the single. If you wanted a more R&B single, then Baekhyun or Diamond were better choices. Yep. I'd probably agree with that. But Psycho should definitely have been the single and the whole vibe of the album. He really liked Psycho. And he said the MV was fine, nothing insanely good, but nothing horrible. So music, he gave a 5.5, and Concept, he gave it 2 for a 7.5 total.
Okay, Cooper didn't give any closing thoughts. He just gave his score 6 out of 7 for Cooper, 3 out of 3 for Concept. So he gave it a 9 out of 10. That's the highest score.
Dude, the
by
MV
far.
was fantastic.
So he probably gave like 2.5 whole points for the body roll. So okay, so putting all of that in the calculator, dividing it by 4, we get a average of 8 out of 10. Pretty good landing spot for it.
Yeah, very very good solo debut.
So what'd you think of Baekhyun's solo debut, City Lights? Did you like UN Village? Should Betcha or Diamond have been the title track? Or do you think Psycho should have been the title track? Let us know in the comments. Still don't know why they just randomly did Highlight and then it was separate from the rest of their set.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was Everglow influence, like them having more time because it was separate from the rest of their songs, which none of the artists did. The only time they had separate